So here is an evidence of a problem that many houses deal with, heads of households deal with. So again we go through the what, and here it says there is nerves, a problem of nerves, celibacy. This is imposed by a dosham or negativity called Dattatreya. So Dattatreya, I can point you to resources on how he was born to sage Atri. Atreya meaning son of Atri, and Datta meaning how he was adopted. And his focus, or the power of his knowledge and how he lived in the forests as a sage. So I can give you a different discussion on that. But here it says that such celibacy is enforced on the head of household here, and one has to perform Dattatreya Homam. So the problem here is friend of spouse or spouse of friend. Obviously it's not friend of spouse because this person's not married, it's spouse of friend. So there are some issues here, right? Now there is also in this house there is a weirdly effective medicine charm. That is, there is a possibility of getting a medicine in this house to cure certain problems, and so the effectiveness of the medicine is promoted by this dwelling. The entry date, right? So during that time this person entered this house. So now you have it says, but it also relates to nerves, celibacy, and so on. So the head of household is being depressed, oppressed, so on in some sense, right? So the number is very high. The effectiveness is about 40. We go back and we find that the detrimental, the celibacy thing has a high power too. It's like 33.8 or something, 9, right? So, and then there are two additional things. So there is Dakshinamurti, and Lord Dakshinamurti it stands for Guru, and Guru is a tradition oriented, rule oriented person. So it is certain things have been taught and we have to follow those rules, right? So there is tradition that is oppressing certain actions, right? Here this is a reversal where it says there is some creativity coming in, and tradition is not thumbing down the creativity, the proposal, right? So now it says advice taken, they listen more. So usually in houses, when there is an argument, it's usually an egoistic stand or a facade that somebody puts, and then the correspondence between the parties stops, and this is what causes issues. Now here, this property, this building or this dwelling encourages taking advice. This is a beautiful thing. It's like 14 point something, but still it's very high, where the either party is their ideas are well received, so you don't have this blocking nature. So this dwelling, the entry date for the dwelling is such powerful. Now there's also quick, smart, intelligent activity. So this also concerns nerve, celibacy, same kind of thing. But this is again so creativity is owner is Venus, and Jupiter is tradition, and when they come together, usually they don't yield to creativity because of Jupiter. And when Jupiter relaxes, they create together with tradition and so on, and such beautiful jewelry happens. That's what this is. I mean, so not very high, but still 14 something, which is great. Now you notice the homam. This is the havan that happened where Dattatreya, who very walks around the forest with very with not much care over his adornments and so on. So if during this havan white silk dhoti is given as avirbag to him, supposedly blessing will happen where the person will be removed. The person will be the celibacy aspect, the breaks of it will be removed from the person, right? Now we go to where. I mean, I can't give you any more detail about this, but Dattatreya Havan is very powerful in that sense. So this is the dwelling, and in that dwelling, if you notice, the unfortunate thing is the head of household we're looking at is in the center, the bed of his bedroom, right, and right there you see the broken heart. So that's what it's saying. The explanation for it is weird enabling happens in this area. It is forced celibacy, nerve trouble, right? It is a platonic area, meaning use it for studying, avoid anything to do with connubial bliss, right? That's what it says. But unfortunately, that's the place where this person's put up and can't move his bed, right? So now that is why the homam, the havan got performed. So if at all there is any change, that's the area. So now a bit more about this. If you look at all the gods, the positions in the house, the way they fall on the Vastu Bhuta, Brahma is the one that governs this bed, and it says Brahma, as you know, is a very inert kind of an entity, and that adds to this inability in some sense, right? It is not like the entire house is like that. They have another bed which has Surya on it, which is great, but this bed, number one, is this way. So now the whole household is not averse to making kids or creativity or having indulgence and so on. You see, Indra has not fallen off, Jayant has not fallen off, Apavatsa, there's emotion, which is okay, and then you have Kusumadanta on the opposite side, where the non-house resident, she tries to please the head of household, and there is Sugriva, which is non-house resident, a male character who tries to please the head of household, depending on gender, right? So this is what is happening with the house. So it is not like the whole house is ours to bliss. So now let's go to when. So here we are, March 1st, 2021, right? So this person, during this time, you see the nerve damage, sciatica, restless leg syndrome thing, that's marked in red, right? And then you see the green, which is the reverse of that. So the powers are 33%, and then you have 40%. There is a weird medicine to go over it. And then there is also the principles relaxation business, basically creativity. Somebody is making a creative proposal, the traditional bent of mind to rule following bent of mind, which says we should not do this or something like that, right? So this is 1st of March, right? So you see 2nd of March, so no changes except the principal's relaxation is happening because it's in green. It's happening now, right? So obviously this yields to a lot of engagement and bliss, right? So now we go to fifth, right? So this happened for a couple of days, I guess, and then so fifth, you notice the same things everywhere else, but then there's this dilemma, hard choice between family and career. I mean, this is the same commitment thingy. Are we going to commit to a marriage or things like that, right? That's the question. So the question, I guess, got popped or is getting popped on the 5th or something. So beyond that, I'm not sure how this happened, what went on, but this is the first time this person broke fast with the help of Dattatreya Maharshi. Now we go next. Evidence, right? You're going to expect me to give you like photographs of the joyous couple and so on. I'm not giving you that. So what we are saying here is the dwelling, understanding the dwelling and the brakes it puts on your life is very important. It's extremely important to understand that, because the house where you're staying is a multiplicative effect. Like if it has a downer in it, however positive you are, it is going to down you, right? It's going to take you down. So it is important to analyze this, and you have to, whether you're staying in an apartment, which is the case, this is a very small apartment here, and whether you're staying there or whether you're staying in an elaborately huge house, all that doesn't matter. I mean, so you have to figure out how the house is aiding you in your focus. Whatever you want to do, is it giving you, or where do you have to sit to do certain things? And if you want to get creative, is there a corner, right, for that? If you have to save medicines so that they are very effective, is there a corner for that? If there is a flight of stairs you have to be worried about, you should know that, because any misstep could lead to health conditions, right? So anyway, this has to be thought about. I mean, if somebody says, my native horoscope is really good and I'm delivering this, that, and if I'm succeeding, it is because my house must be really good. That's not the case. I mean, you may be able to deliver, you may be able to succeed 10 times more if you had the right house, or if you sat in the right corner, or Vastu is such a powerful thing which governs how life of the tenant in the household or dwelling is shaped by Vastu, right? So you have to give this a try and make sure that this, I mean, you've got a Ferrari, it's just that if the red calipers are rusted and grabbing your wheel, you're not going pretty fast, are you? So you have to make sure that the calipers are free and they operate well and they release. There are no brakes, there are no handbrakes on your machine, so you can enjoy the full speed. Thank you.